On today's show, Dereck Lively out probably indefinitely for the Dallas Mavericks, but it's not time to move on from him yet. We'll tell you why. Today's Locked On Mavs.
This is Cooper Flagg, and you're listening to Locked On Mavs.
I think that's a good question.
Good morning, Isaac. All these changes, I still got my dog, Dwight Powell.
Your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast.
No one's dying.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't leave you.
Your team every day.
I'm going to get a city like that.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years. Thanks for being in every day or making Locked On Mavs your first listen and making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network out there. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Joining me, as always, my co-host, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years, right alongside with me, the Derek Hype Squad son. The one more thinking, what you got for me, Isaac Harris?
Oh, tonight's a big night. Recording this Tuesday night, big night in the Harris household. It is the finale of the Dancing with the Stars.
Oh.
And
I was like, it could be Bachelor. It could be. Are the Ravens playing tonight randomly? That was like the things. That
it was about to get to the results. It's a 3-hour finale. About to get to the results, and that's when Nick wanted to record. So Barb, my wife, I told her she could go ahead and watch, but she's like, no, I'm going to wait for you.
Not without you, no.
We got to get Val and Alex Earl. They got to win this thing. I don't
Is
care
Robert
about...
Irwin still in it?
Dude, he's annoying, man.
Stop it. No. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
He's such a nice dude. And I'm going to make this analogy, and it's because he's involved with animals. He's just like it's like the first time you go to the zoo as like a kid, and he has that energy all the time. I'm like, okay.
Do you know who his dad is?
I do. It was cool the first time, but now I'm just like, dang, dude, you're draining. Like, I could not be around you.
Wow, because he has a spice for life and enjoys living. Today's episode, we're going to get into Dereck Lively and the update on him. We'll talk about the other Mavs bigs too. What does this mean for Daniel Gafford? Can the Mavs afford to even move on from him? Anthony Davis is reportedly coming back soon. Is he coming back for that Lakers game like I had predicted weeks ago? We'll talk about that. But let's start here, Isaac. Dereck Lively, an update from the Dallas Mavericks came today. The Dallas Mavericks don't usually give an injury update unless it's something significant. And in this case, it was Dereck Lively currently being evaluated for swelling and discomfort in his right foot. He will miss the team's upcoming 3-game road trip, and further timeline will be provided in approximately 7 to 10 days. This is not a surprise. Dereck Lively had been out with the knee contusion that turned into a knee sprain, and that was weird. Then he came back, and after a while, like longer than it probably should have been for a contusion, and obviously then it was a sprain, and he was still getting minute restrictions, even like a couple games in, he was still within the 15 to 18 minute. I thought they were being very cautious. They were keeping him out of back-to-backs as well. And then all of a sudden on the injury report, it turned into a foot instead of a knee sprain. And that was one where I like perked my ears up and I was like, I'm just going to wait till an update comes. I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm just going to watch this and see what happens. And here it is. And so Mark Stein reported about it a little bit earlier and said the Mavericks fear that he's going to be out for an extended injury absence. He was held out of Monday's game. Lively has played in 7 of 19 games after offseason foot surgery and a recent knee issue. And that is the situation right now with Dereck Lively, which has many Mavs fans like sitting and asking themselves, is it time to move on from Dereck Lively? What do we do with Dereck Lively? And what's the thing with Dereck Lively? And I'm kind of treating this like I think he's out indefinitely, Isaac.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play for a very, very long time. I think there is a possibility out there that we might not see him for the rest of the year, and it really sucks. Not just for the Mavs, but for him too. I went into the season, and we did an episode earlier in the season of like kind of what's some takes like that are floating out there that I'm not on board with, or I'm in the minority with, or I want to like disprove. And one of them was that Dereck Lively was injury prone. And I was like, man, really? Is he? Like, it's early in his career. I don't want to like put that label on him yet. And I was trying my best to like fight it. And then I went back and looked at his injury history. Yeah. And he's only been in the league, a few years now. And I was like, all right, this isn't helping my case. And then bam, this is happening. And that is the label for him. He is an injury prone big man. And I mean, you even go back to, when he first came into Duke, he got hurt in the preseason in a calf injury. And, he wasn't the same player. I mean, you didn't see the full potential of Dereck Lively at Duke until the second half of that college season, his freshman season at Duke. And even towards the end of the year there, that's when you started to see the glimpses of it. And that's what honestly got him back up into the lottery there, because it's like, depending on who you talk to, you're like, well, he's not healthy. You don't really know what you have to kind of go off Lively's like high school tapes and not what he's playing at Duke. He's also playing like a weird position at Duke.
He had to reach.
And it's like, all right, what are you going to do with it? But then you saw that potential at the end of Duke. And then, his rookie year, plays 55 games. Last year, he ends up playing 32 games. He had a stress fracture in his right foot. And then this is the same foot, this year. And it's just never a good thing for any player. It's definitely not a good thing for a player that's 7'1". Anytime you get players that get past that 7 foot mark,
that's 7'3", that's growing. Like, even probably worse that he said he was growing over the offseason.
I forgot about that. Yeah. This is honestly one of the things with Wemby that I don't think gets talked about enough. That we all freak out about how much of an alien he is. And it's the peak of Wemby right now is just so much fun to watch. But historically, when you look at players that tall, now Wemby's, a lot taller than Lively, but it doesn't
3 inches.
It doesn't
is that big to you?
Well, depends on who you ask.
Depends on how you use it.
But Wemby, I don't think people talk about it enough of like, man, the percentages or the history doesn't tell you that it's going to end well for Wemby unless he goes against the odds a little bit. And I hope it's different for Lively, but unfortunately it hasn't been. And now I think you got to figure out, is he locked in as a piece of the future, or is it something that you're entertaining all options now?
That's the question you have to answer. I don't think it's time to move on from him yet. Like, I think it's too early. It's too young. We have seen guys, there's usually smaller guys, but we have seen guys deal with some of these injuries and then get bigger, stronger, and be able to deal with some of these. Like, obviously the Steph Curry thing where he was dealing with all those like ankle injuries, and then he strengthened his hips, and then he got better. Like, we've seen guys in the NBA get better from some of these. They have not been 7-footers necessarily. Like the Joel Embiid, it seems to come back for guys like that. Anthony Davis, some of those things, they seem to come back.
And I'm with you. I don't think you get rid of Dereck Lively right now.
What's the point?
It's kind of like, well, what are you going to get back? Like, even if you're like, hey, I'm not sold on Dereck Lively going forward in the future, which sucks to say that, and I'm not there. It's just like, if you are in that camp, then what are you getting back right now? Because any other franchise is looking at it. If they're about to put anything good on the table, a high first round pick or an incredible like young piece or whatever you want to swap them or something, they're going to be asking the same question of, well, crap, y'all have had him in house for a couple of years. Why are you just wanting to get rid of him? And because we're going to bring him in with the same hopes of, we want him to be a young big in our system for a while. And I think the big thing right now, another reason why you don't get rid of him is, one, I don't think you're going to get anywhere close to good value back for him. Second, I think you just wait it out. Like next year, so he makes $5.2 million this year. Next year, he makes $7.2 million. After next year is when he will hit restricted free agency if you don't come to terms on an extension. You're like, hey, Isaac, when's the extension deadline? Glad you asked. That is next October. This year was October 20th, but next October. So you have until probably the mid to late of next October 2026, to decide on if you want to give a bigger rookie extension to Dereck Lively. And I think that's my thing of like, I'm just going to hold on to him until then. Like, let's see what happens. Like, yes. Well, I don't want to like speculate and whatever with like what the next few weeks might hold, but it's like go into the off season, see what the summer holds, go in training camp, and then try to figure this thing out in October. And if you are in October and you're not comfortable of giving him a rookie extension, if you do play it out, you're still looking at restricted free agency that the same teams like Detroit's doing with Ivy, or Houston's doing with Tari Eason, or Indiana's doing with Matherin. Like, those guys didn't come to terms on a rookie extension, and they're going to hit restricted free agency this summer. And those teams they're going to figure that stuff out then. So it's kind of like a Jaden Ivey thing of, you've seen glimpses, like you've seen hope, but they might not feel comfortable enough to give a big extension to.
And when we've seen him, he's been impactful. He has a positive, he has a positive plus minus on the season for a team that is 5-14. Just it's been really tough to keep waiting for him to come back and then keep having setbacks like this. And so coming up, I'm gonna tell you why the Mavs do need to pivot in some way. They don't have to move off. I don't think they should move off of Lively yet, but they do need to pivot. I'll tell you how coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA because you can go to all kinds of different things, including NBA games. Let's get real. Getting tickets can be a total headache between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right out before checkout. It's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your own team. That's where Game Time comes in. The app gives fans the advantage. Your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. All kinds of other things too, not just NBA tickets, but also comedy, concerts, theater, shows, all kinds of things. Go check it out. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms will apply. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket. Go with Game Time to get your tickets to comedy, concerts. Use the zone deals. It's a game changer. You pick the section, Game Time picks a seat, and you save big with Game Time.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad. That's what we call our listeners who are listening every day like you. That's right, you listening every day. All right, Isaac.
I want to say this about Dereck Lively II. What makes
you gotta say the thing though.
One more thing. A lot of times with these rookies and rookies that show a lot of promise, you're like constantly evaluating of like how you fit with the team, but also, man, what will you look like on the biggest stage?
Yeah.
And that's another thing that's so frustrating is like we've got to see the value of Dereck Lively in a playoff run. You got to see Dereck Lively help carry this team to an NBA Finals. You've seen him on the biggest stage. We've seen him at times to where we're like watching playoff series saying, dang, they can't leave Lively on the bench right now. Like they gotta put him out there. Like Gafford can't hold his own in some of these switches and stuff in the playoffs, and Lively can, and Lively just outplayed Gafford in the playoffs and stuff. And so it's like that's another added part of this is you already saw at such a young age that hardly any teams get to see their rookies on that stage. You've seen it in the position that he would hopefully play for the next decade on your team, and now it's kind of like, well, crap. Are we ever going to like see that again? And that's just another layer that makes it sucky.
I'll give one piece of hope potentially. And I want to preface this by saying,
I'm not a doctor, so I don't know.
He has been under 3 different medical staffs since he's been in Dallas. The very first 2 months, Casey Smith was still there. He hadn't gotten fired yet. And then the next group came in, and then now this new group has come in. And then the previous group messed up his diagnosis.
I was going to say that he was the center point of all of that drama that unfolded.
They messed up that diagnosis, and he could have played with that injury before they caught it at the very end, and right before he was going to come back. And so there is a chance that this new medical staff looks at this and says, all right, I think we can fix this. Let's reset it. We kind of have this year now, this weird gap year where we can fix this and reset it. This is why one of the reasons why you and I think that he may be out for the season. They maybe they do another surgery, and then it's like, all right, let's reset him and see if he's going to come back better and stronger from this. He works on some of the things that you need to work on. He rehabs obviously, and then you go back into that into the next season. You see if he's ready throughout the offseason, and then you can look at that extension in October, like you said.
Yeah, it's just buying time, and like I said before, it's like, what's the alternative? He makes $5 million. It's not like, because I feel like some people might be saying, well, why are you talking about Anthony Davis trades then? What's the alternative to that? Well, AD makes $50-some million. And if he stays hurt, then it's $60 million. Like you're getting, that's just an insane amount of money for someone to be hurt compared to Dereck Lively at $5 and then $7 million next year. And you have kind of a year now, the next 11 months to figure out, hey, is he a long-term, piece for our team?
He should be, like talent-wise, like personality-wise. Like the way that he's brought the community together, the way that he's like shown himself as a leader, as even one of the youngest players on the team going into that finals. Like he was a leader on the defensive end. Like this is a bummer if this is towards if we're seeing the end of this for Dereck Lively, because man, he's just a player that everyone roots for.
Well, I think now what this does for me, in my opinion, is now it just opens up possibilities. I have a tweet that I just tweeted out like a month ago that was like, protect Cooper and Lively at all costs.
Yeah.
Like the combo of those two guys. And now I just don't think that's the case. I just think it is, hey, like we love Lively. We want him to be a part of this future, but it's not like locked in like in cement anymore. Now it opens it up. In my opinion, it opens up AD trade possibilities to where if you're trading AD somewhere and a young big is on the table, I'm not shying away from that because I have Lively. Or when you're looking at the NBA draft coming up and you land at 7 or 8 and Michael Brown's already off the board after Peterson goes 1 or 2, and there's like a really good, big there, I'm not shying away from that big because, hey, we have Dereck Lively. So like, I just think that's the type of thing. It just opens up these big man opportunities in the trades and drafting and free agency, future plans, who fits around Coop, just all what you'd possibly do with Gafford. I mean, Gafford's just 27, so I think it affects that too, especially if you plan on trading Anthony Davis. So that's my only. It just opens up a lot of different paths they can go down now.
The pivot for Lively now is exactly,
and that sucks. By the way, I'm not saying that in like a positive way. I don't want to open up all the paths.
From a player we know that can play in the NBA Finals as a 20-year-old.
I know. It's like, I wish you could have like a position locked in and say, you know what? Don't have to worry about my big man spot for the next decade. Now you have to.
The pivot is exactly what you just said, though. It's going from expectation with Lively to hope, right? You're pivoting to hope now. You hope that it works out, and if it does, then awesome. Then you have a center that can anchor a defense, can play pick and roll with Cooper Flagg, can play pick and roll with whatever guard they end up bringing in, can be a really good passer in a pick and roll or in a zone system where he's the guy in the middle. You just have this great personality and person in the locker room too, a leader. You have all those things. But now it's turned into hope instead of expectation. You don't expect to have that. You don't have that cemented in as this is the guy next to Cooper Flagg that is cemented in. Now it's just a little bit more of a question going in. And I hope it still is. I'm still, if Miss Cohen's class is listening right now, I'm still on the hype squad. I apologize for my joke earlier if you're listening, but I still am on the hype. I still am on the hype squad.
No, I want it to I want it to work out so bad. I mean, I've seen some people are already online like, well, maybe that means we can get him at a cheaper extension. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, obviously, yeah. Right? There could be stipulations on injury, but you never want that. You never want to put the stipulations on injury. That means your player is not going to play.
Yeah, like let's say, hypothetically, you don't see him for a long time this year, and the next time you see him playing at a high level is like training camp next year or preseason, and then they have not too long until they have to figure out the extension. Lively's camp probably has more of a decision at that point of, do I just play this out? Do I take a cheaper extension? I was looking at his draft.
With the extension stuff, there's a chance, like for those that are saying, oh, it could be a smaller extension, there's a chance you sign him to a smaller extension and then he ends up working out like what Steph Curry was at the beginning of their run, right? To bring up that again, where he signed a smaller deal because they didn't think that he was going to be healthy. They were taking a risk, and then it ends up working out exponentially better than they thought. Or you sign a guy that's Jonathan Isaac, and now you're going, okay, well, now what do we do with
jersey sales skyrocket?
He's been playing better this year, but he's got this non-guaranteed deal for the next couple of years.
I was looking at his draft class, Lively's, and I was like, oh, I wonder in the first round how many other players have played under 100 games. See if you can tell me a common denominator with some of these guys. There's only 8 players in the first round. These are the 8 players. Kobe Brown. Under 100
games?
That's played under 100 games so far. Kobe Brown, Dariq Whitehead, Noah Clowney, Jalen Hood-Schifino, Kobe Buffkin, Lively, Jet Howard, and Taylor Hendricks. How many of those guys aren't even on an NBA roster right now?
Yeah, right.
And then you're looking at Taylor Hendricks, who literally broke his leg in half in Dallas and missed a whole entire year. So you're kind of looking at like Lively, Jet Howard, Noah Clowney as like these guys that have played under 100 games. And it sucks because Lively is way better than those other two guys. He should not be in this category of this amount of games played. And yeah, that part sucks. And it's like, I look at it before and it's funny. I wrote down this name earlier. I was like who in this draft class, like if Dallas called right now and said, hey, will you swap this player for Dereck Lively? And I wrote down Anthony Black's name. Coincidence, Anthony Black was playing really well tonight. And it has the past like few days or week in Orlando. But I'm like, if you called Orlando and said, hey, Dereck Lively for Anthony Black, like Orlando's probably saying no, right? Like, I mean, they're probably saying no. If like, I mean, Scoot was a high draft pick, but like you go back to like when Lively was healthy, and if they called Portland and said, you know, they have Klingon now, but it's like Scoot for Lively, like they might do that at one point. And now it's like, they're probably not, they're not. So that's why I'm saying, like, you just keep Lively at this point. You ride it out and you try to get him healthy and you take it up into that deadline and, you know, mid to late October next year.
Turn your expectation into hope, and we'll see what happens over this next calendar year, basically until October. And we'll see what happens with Dereck Lively's future. Coming up, what about the future of the other Mavs bigs? What does this change for Anthony Davis in his trade? Is Anthony Davis coming back? He's apparently practicing today on Wednesday. What about Gafford? We'll talk about that and more coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Drip Drop. I had a drip drop today. Just opened the little packet, put it in a glass of water, and I was 3 times as hydrated, 3 times the electrolytes, and half the sugar of the leading brands of another sports drink, because Drip Drop is not your average sports drink. They use a science-backed formula trusted by medical professionals, firefighters, and over 90% of top college and pro teams. It's doctor-developed hydration that keeps me running at full power no matter what my day looks like, because I got to be running at full power. I got to do shows. I got stuff to do. I got travel to go see family and all that. And you've got to be ready. Your mood, your focus, your energy, all that has to be better. You got to stay hydrated. Right now, Drip Drop is offering podcast listeners 20% off your first order. Go to dripdrop.com. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNBA. All one word, LOCKEDONNBA. That's dripdrop.com. Promo code LOCKEDONNBA for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard and keep your body and mind performing at their best with Drip Drop.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
All right, Isaac, talking about the Mavs bigs, the unfortunate Dereck Lively news that happened today, and we just wait and see. The other thing is we could be overreacting to all of this, and he could be back in 2 weeks. I mean, who knows? I don't think that we're overreacting to it, but we'll see. Who knows with this Mavs team, medical staff, the injury luck that the Mavs have had. It's all over the place and so unpredictable.
Listen, the Mavs aren't going to win a ton of games this year, so if there's a year right now for this to happen, I guess I'm just trying, like, you know, what if everyone was healthy right now and playing really good basketball, and now you get this kind of news about Lively? It would really suck, because it's like, I think we need Lively to, you know, go on a deep playoff run. AD would probably be more pissed because that means more games at the 5. But since you are probably going to be at the bottom or near the bottom, then let's get the foot right, Lively.
26 is a lot of something. It's not a lot of NBA wins. That's the expected win-loss according to Cleaning the Glass right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
What a year.
Anthony Davis, according to Mark Stein, he is ramping up, and he is going to be practicing on Wednesday with the hopes that he will play in the Mavs' next games. Isaac, who do the Mavs play next?
Play the Lakers, and that would be a drastic mistake to bring him back at the Lakers. I don't think he comes back on Friday. I think he has to come back on Saturday if he comes back.
I still think against all best judgment, best interest, and everything, I think he comes back for that Lakers game, because I think that him and his people will be dead set on him wanting to play in that game.
No. Guys, you can't, like, just all the optics of it. You can't do it. He was already not in the best of shape. I've said this before. I don't think he's probably gotten in crazy, like, tip-top shape while he's been out with a calf injury. So you're going to bring him back his first game, probably not in the best of basketball shape, coming off the injury to face Luka Doncic in LA. Like, that just sounds like you're just asking for it to be just flat out embarrassed, or God forbid, like an injury happen. Like, just no, just wait for the Clippers game. He can't bring you back first game against the Lakers.
That's what they should do, but we'll see what they're going to do.
Nico's not there anymore, so I have hope.
But we don't know who's
Nico would be fighting tooth and nails right now. Like, no, he is playing. He would not care what. Like, he would make it happen.
Yeah, but if Anthony Davis and his team and like Rich Paul, his agent, want him,
they've
to play,
been wanting to come back. To all of them, he's been cleared and fine. So yeah, it's past their hands at this point.
We don't know how Dumont is going to fix these optics, right? That's the other thing. It's like, hey, he could think, well, Anthony Davis comes back against the Lakers, and if he looks good, then all of a sudden it fixes some of our optics, and that is like not likely to happen. But yeah, does this Lively news change any Anthony Davis trade thoughts, ideas that you've had? Kind of mentioned it before, but it doesn't.
Not one bit. No, because it's still a lost season. It's not like, hey, the Lively trade happened. I mean, the Lively injury happens, and now the season's like a lost season. No, it was already decided on, kind of. So, I mean, it might open it up with like some of the packages you could get back, like what I was saying earlier, of like you're talking to a team, and one of the things was a young big, and that you maybe not have been as fully interested in before, but now you are. That's about the only thing, but I still think it's a good likelihood that AD's getting traded.
The other portion of this that I'm looking at now is, can the Mavs afford to move on from Gafford? And
no, I think I think this affects Gafford more than it does AD. I think, I mean, I don't want to say it takes him completely off the table, but I feel like you should just take him off the table for a little bit. For the right deal, and you obviously entertain it.
Right.
But it's like, I mean, yeah. I don't think we're going to see Lively for a while. So you need a big out there, unless, hey, Moose, you ready to play 40 minutes a night? You and Dwight, let's do this.
All these changes, and I still got my dog Dwight Powell. I still got, you know what I mean?
You can't, and we've said this before, like, even if you do trade off some pieces, you can't fully bottom out. So Gafford is under contract and all of that. So I think you lean towards keeping him more than shopping, but I'm also not hanging up on everybody right now.
No, it does up the price for Gafford, though. The Mavs need to keep him for now, because they don't have healthy bigs outside of Daniel Gafford.
Yeah, no, I mean,
and Musa,
Cisse,
and Dwight.
That's pretty much what you're looking at. So I think it changes more for Gafford than it does AD. It's just unfortunate for Lively, and it's unfortunate for just roster building moving forward. Of man, you would just love to have that Lively fully healthy. You're looking at Lively and Cooper, the Duke boys, like as this like young front court duo, and hopefully you still get that. But this is definitely a dent in that, because he does have that label now. You can't avoid it. Of he is an injury prone big, and let's see what the next 12 months hold for him.
Yeah, we're not doing the Dereck Lively actually is an injury prone podcast this summer. I don't think we can get away with that one.
No. I mean, if I couldn't do it this past summer, I definitely can.
Hey, I did it with Anthony Davis. I tried to make the case.
Whoa, bold move.
I made the case that he's not Kawhi, not Embiid. That was the case I tried to make. He's not that level of injury prone.
Okay. Well, this season didn't help him.
Did not help at all. We have not been helped in any of our takes, and any of the times that we tried to put our confidence in the Mavericks this year, that has not really panned out. Besides my stock in Max Christie, our stock in Cooper Flagg, our PJ stock. Really, it's got it.
Yeah, PJ's had a really good year. Him and Maxey.
Really good.
Fun.
Tomorrow, talking about things we're thankful for with the Dallas Mavericks. Come back, join us. It's gonna be a fun one. Isaac and I, and we spent way too much time trying to figure out which Thanksgiving food each Maverick is, because the Mavs have had different kinds of impact, and so we'll talk about who's had the most impact on the Mavs coming up. So
wait till you see the food I have for Nico Harrison.
Yeah, I got one for Nico as well, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.